GM. Today's lesson is a follow-up on yesterday's lesson. So if you haven't listened to yesterday's one, listen to it first before you listen to this. Yesterday I talked about, are you living your life for you or for other people? Are you doing things for other people or are you doing them for yourself? And then within that, it's not to say that living for other people is bad. If you're doing that for your family, for your loved ones, if you're doing it for the betterment of others, and you're a provider or a protector, whatever, that's great. So taking that part forward, I got a good question from one of my captains about this. And he said the daily lesson made him realize that I do way too much only for others, which I'm sure rings true with many people. He said, how would you go about finding a balance between sacrifice for others, but also living your life for yourself without becoming an egotistic asshole? His approach would be to start cutting out shit that he does for others, from which I will most likely not yield any fruit in the end. Right? So asking himself, what do I want more than what could others want? So that's a good start. The point of all of this comes back to your why. And if you keep it very simple, like a trader would, think of risk reward. Right? What is the potential downside of what I'm doing? What is the potential upside? The cost you have in life is always one of three things, broadly, when you're talking about should you do something. The cost is either going to be money, time, or health. And usually a combination of all three. But if you're doing anything, whether that be, like I said, the obvious example of like smoking, or whether it be just going out of your way to help people all the time and never focusing on yourself, you're either costing yourself money, time, or health. So then, what's the benefit? Basic cost-benefit analysis. If you're spending all of your time doing tasks for other people, because you just can't say no, and you're not getting ahead on your own stuff, like you're spending too much time running around doing tasks for your boss or for your colleagues or for your family, and you're not getting a chance to work on your business, so you're not actually setting yourself in a position to get ahead, you're procrastinating on that big task of your own business to help other people, well, the cost of that is financial and time. You're wasting your precious time on earth, and you're depriving yourself of future earnings. This is a really big one. A lot of people want to not feel like my captain said about not being an egotistic asshole. Get rid of that thought entirely, right? You have to do things for yourself first, but do them for the right reason. Here's a good example. A lot of people talk about wanting to like give money to charity or give back or help the community or help their people, retire their parents, all this stuff, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. So short-term selfishness is not a bad thing if it's for the right reason. If you chose to cut off everyone, not financially support anybody for 2 years because you only have a few $1,000s and you're only making a few hundred or a few $1,000s at your job, you decided to just cut everything out, pure focus on business and growing and scaling it to 10 or 20k a month, right? And you take 2 years of absolute ruthless grind on your business, or on a new business, or on a sales job, or a career, or whatever, and you go from making 2k a month to 20k a month, even though you weren't able to support people within that period, you are now 10 times better off and can do 10 times more good now that you've boosted and increased your income. So that's one of the clearest ways. This is probably the part that gets most people stuck. They're responsible to help, right? Financially help their family or help others. If that's the case, then keep doing it. Right? But financial is just giving money. It's the time aspect you really want to be focusing on. If you're spending all your time doing things for other people and it's holding you back from getting bigger things done, you have to reframe it in your mind and say, I'm actually not doing the best thing for my family or my loved ones by focusing too much on helping. Right? Because if you could take that time and put it into business or put it into your trading, put it into whatever, and build yourself in a couple of years into a much bigger, better, more successful, wealthier person, you'll be able to do far greater good. This goes back to the whole concept of money and whether rich people are evil or is money evil. And it's like, evil or not evil doesn't matter in terms of the person you're helping, right? So whether that's family or the community or charity, Warren Buffett can do more with one fucking stroke of his pen than any of us could ever do. So is he a bad person? Who knows? Maybe he's a terrible person. But he can take 1 million people out of poverty in a click of finger. We can't. right? So you don't have to go to that extreme of saying, I'm going to not fucking do anything or help anyone until I'm a billionaire. But you have to get yourself ahead first, right? You have to fill up your own cup before you pour. So that's like the aspect of the time management. I think that's the big one. The simple things like doing things that are bad for your health in order to, please people you don't even know anymore. That's an obvious one. Cut that shit out. The use of your time must be managed ruthlessly. You have to be really, really stingy with your time. You don't get your time back. And you have to think, what is the most leverage? If I do this thing today, how much return does it give me in future? Be that financial or just getting yourself ahead to where you could potentially have more financial benefit. This is like grinding at a skill rather than working a job. If you want to make like $2,000 a month, well, go and work in a factory and do 12-hour days, right? You can make $2,000 a month very easily in pretty much every country, certainly in the West, by working long hours at a bullshit job, right? Or you could choose to grind on copywriting or e-com or content creation or whatever for 6 months, maybe make no money, but then be able to make 2 and then 4 and then 6 and then 8 and then 10 very quickly over the next year or two. So investing that time up front yields a far greater benefit in future. And this is just like trading. You have to keep chipping away at your trading every day a little bit, but if you're not in the financial situation you need to be, you have to be disciplined with your time there. You have to remember, don't spend 4 or 6 or 8 hours on trading because you want to do it whenever you need to be focusing on business or getting your cash flow up or getting more money in, right? So that's an example of not doing things for yourself. That's an example of delayed gratification, where the thing you really want to do, you must not do it initially, not do it 6 hours. You have to do it 1 or 2 and then earn the right to do the thing you want to do. Again, always with the high time frame view in mind of the bigger picture. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit of an extension on yesterday's, of how you can do more of what you want rather than what others want, but always with the view to the bigger picture. You're either doing it for your direct family right now, you're doing it for your future family, your legacy, or you're doing it for your community, you're doing it for the betterment of the world, whatever it is for you. It's always one of those categories. It's either for the betterment of the world, community, family right now, or future family, your legacy.